Ela.
Chimamanda, eu escrevo para um caderno para crianças, voltado para crianças no jornal, então eu queria falar um pouquinho de educação. Algumas famílias aqui no Brasil têm expectativas irreais sobre o papel da escola na criação dos filhos, então acabam delegando à escola algumas tarefas que talvez não fossem típicas da escola. Os seus livros, eles são super democráticos e eles se dirigem tanto às famílias quanto aos educadores, então tem recados para todo mundo ali. Eu queria saber se você acha que no caso específico do feminismo, a responsabilidade dessa educação das crianças é maior para um dos lados, seja para a escola ou seja para a família, ou se é alguma coisa que deve ser compartilhada igualmente entre ambos.
I think both. I think it has to start at home, right? So I can talk about my own experience. That when I had my daughter is 5 now. My husband and I made very deliberate choices about how we were going to raise her and the things that we were going to say to her. So some of the things that I made the choice, for example, that I would make sure that she was very active, physically active. And the reason I made that choice was because I think you have to start early to try and deal with the kind of horrible negative messages that girls are given about their bodies. And my thinking was that if I can raise her to think of her body as something that can do things, I can run, I can climb a tree, then maybe she's less likely to think about how her body doesn't fit the beauty ideals that the world has set out. And the way that we made sure, for example, that she's growing up in a place where she doesn't think the mother has to cook because the mother is the mother, right? That she sees both parents cooking. But then when she started preschool in the US, I noticed that she then would come back and say things to me like, that toy is for boys, which is something that we never told her at home. Because at home, we bought her every kind of toy. Actually, to be honest, I wanted her to have less of the girly toys. Because when I was growing up, I had dolls. And I keep saying that the reason I cannot do practical things today is because they bought me dolls and they bought trucks and toy cars for my brothers. And so my brothers could fix things and I was just holding a doll. So, for my daughter, we bought her more toy cars than dolls. But I noticed that the school, the preschool, had started to do a kind of social education on her, where they were starting to teach her these ideas of gender, that a truck was a toy for boys. And when she said that, it was very important for me to immediately say to her, no, that's not true. Anybody can play with a truck. And it's the same with princesses. She started to learn about princess as the ideal thing. And again, these are small things, but I think they really do contribute to the way that girls start to think about themselves. And so I think it's really important to start early and to do it in a way that's kind of natural and hopefully fun, because also I don't want to be the crazy feminist mother, right? So she comes back. And so my point is that it's important to start at home, because often the schools are not teaching your children what you necessarily want them to teach your children when it comes to social ideas, right? So that they're very good at teaching your children mathematics and grammar. That's wonderful. But what else are they teaching them? So if your child is coming back from preschool and telling you that a truck is a toy for boys, that's a problem. Or telling you, I can only be a princess for Halloween. And I said, no, you can be anything you want. So now what I've managed to convince my daughter about is that princesses are boring. Princesses are very pretty, but they're boring. And when I ask her, why are they boring? She says, because they can't really do anything. So instead, she's a superhero. But I also tell her, you can wear a pink skirt and be a superhero and do many things. So it's my way of trying to challenge the things that she's learning. Things like, the truck is for boys.
Certo, Adriana.